Hey guys, so here is part 2 of the day 2 notes. We're going to talk about compound interest. So we have the formula A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the N times C power. Okay, let's talk about what all of these variables represent. Okay, A is going to be basically your final amount or final balance. P is what we call the principal. So that's basically your initial amount. Your R, just like we did before, is going to be the rate as a decimal. N is actually going to be talking about how many times we compound. So number of times we compound. And then lastly, T is going to represent time. So you might want to pause the video to write all of this down here, okay? Okay, let's use this formula to do the next following problems. Okay, you deposit $4,000 in an account that pays 2.92% annual interest. Find the balance after 3 years if the interest is compounded for the following. Okay, so let's talk about if it's compounded quarterly, meaning that you're kind of getting money back each of those times. So we think quarterly each year, how many is that? Well, that's going to be representing, because think of a quarter, how many quarters go into a dollar? Okay, it's 4, right? So quarterly means 4 here. So that means our N is going to equal 4. So we use the formula A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the N times C power. So our principal, basically the initial amount that I put into the account, is going to be $4,000. Now our rate, remember, we got to plug that as a decimal. So I'm going to change this as 0.0292. And then we said quarterly is 4. And then at 4 times, so we are doing this for 3 years. So it stays into that account for 3 years at 4 times 3. Okay, now let's talk about how can we plug all of this just into our calculator. Okay. Okay, so first we have the 4,000. So I'm going to put that in, and then parentheses. Now I'm going to do 1 plus, and then parentheses, 0.0292 divided by 4, parentheses. Now I need to do one more parentheses because I did do one around the 1. Then to the, now here we can definitely just do 4 times 3 in our heads if we want to. But you can also just do 4 times 3 if you want to here as well. And you don't really need to use parentheses because we know it's already in the exponent form. Or if you want to, if you don't like doing that, you could already put 12 as well. So it's kind of up to you what you want to do, okay? Okay, so when we do that, I press enter, and I get this amount here. So I get 4,364, and now we're going to round because remember with money, we only go to the hundreds place. And so since we have a 6, we're going to round up so to 82 cents. Now there is another way of doing this. So if you have your own calculator, yours might be able to do this, or the app as well. So another way of doing this is we can use the fraction key. What I mean by that is, okay, we still do 4,000. I'm going to do still parentheses 1 plus. Now to do this fraction, what I can also do is click the alpha y equals button, and it comes up with this. So what this represents is that n divided by d, that means I can make it into a fraction. The u and n divided by d means I can make it into a mixed fraction. Well, I only need it as a fraction, so I'm going to go ahead and press enter for that one. So now I can put point and then 0.292. Now I do need to down arrow, so then I can put 4, and then I will need to right arrow over so I can make the bigger parentheses. Then I can do to the, and then you can do 4 times 3 or to the 12th power, and we get the same thing. So there's another way. Now some older graphing calculators can't do this, so you might have to use the parentheses. Otherwise, if you have a little bit of a newer one or using the app, you can do it this way. Okay, so that would be our answer there. And don't forget the dollar sign because this is money. Okay, so now let's go ahead and do the next one. So now it says daily. We're compounding daily. Well, how many days are there in a year? There's 365. So now, plugging this in, I have A equals. Now we still have the initial amount of $4,000. 1 plus the rate is still the same. That didn't change. Now for the N, I do 365, and then I'm going to do 365 times 3. Okay. So once again, we plug this into our calculator. And so you can either use this method or the using the parentheses. And if you have a scientific calculator, you will have to do it like this. And then for your exponent, you probably will have to put that in parentheses as well if you're using a scientific calculator. Okay, so I put 4,000 and then parentheses 1 plus. I'm going to go ahead and do the fraction key here. So we still have the same rate, but it is compounded every single day. Parentheses to the. Now this time I am just going to put 365 times our 3 because I don't want to do that in my head. We get 4,366 and 19 cents. Okay. So now what I would like you to do is go ahead and pause this video to do the last problem. So now find what is going to be compounded yearly. Okay, let's see what you got here. So yearly means that it's only going to be compounded once if we're talking about yearly. Okay? So N is going to equal 1 here. I'm going to go ahead and do it down here because I'm running out of room. So our A is going to be, still we keep the same amount that we initially plugged in. 1 plus, and then 0.0292. We have that over 1. And then it's going to be 1 times 3. Okay? So plugging this into our calculator. So I'm going to show you, if you are using a scientific, how you should do it exactly. So we will still do 4,000. And then parentheses 1 plus, then parentheses 0.0292. Now we already know if we divide that by 1, it's going to give it to itself. But I just want to show if you're using a scientific calculator how you'll need to do this. We'll do this. Now it won't necessarily do it like this in your scientific. It will have the caret key. So when you do that, you do need to put in parentheses 1 times 3. So this is only if you have a scientific calculator. Otherwise, graphing can be you can do less. Okay. So then we get 4,360 and 73 cents. Okay, make sure you watch the last part of our video. We're going to be talking about the number E.